Did it? Oh, let's see here. Audio check. Did it play? Coming in. Mail. Like I said, we don't need no mainstream media to continue to report on this case. The justice for our black young men and women. Good God Almighty, tell it, Tony, what is what God has blessed us with? Gotcha. Yes, I remember, Tony. Yes, they cannot hold us down. We always get back up. Check our resume. Not our young children. Now our young children being sought after because, they represent our future. Yes, Bunny. What did God say? The first should be last, and the last should be first. Facts, and that's what they're scared of. They know it. Chi-Town, watching with you. Thank you. Robinson 6556 in the last hour. Now, let me go up. Here we go. Now, I raised the question, and I brought this up several times, so this is what I did my research on. Justine, 1 hour and 8 minutes. Does the judicial system have an expedited appeal process? The answer is yes. In the U.S. states, the United States, courts can use expedited appeals in certain circumstances, but they are exception rather than the rule. Whether that an appeal is expedited depends on the law, the court rules, and the specific facts of the case. Common situations where an expedited appeal may be granted. Here we go. Cases involving imminent execution. That's not the case here. The next one, this is not the case, but custody, child custody of parental rights matters where delay could harm a child. This is not the case. Election disputes. This is not the case. Cases, here we go, involving constitutional rights where delay could cause irreparable harm. As I stated, Karmelo Anthony, tomorrow is day 40. 40 days, 40 nights. 40 days, 40 nights that he's going to be behind jail, wrongfully convicted. So, and also go to the middle slide, matters of significant public importance where the court determines that immediate review is appropriate. Now, this is what we talked about. This is what we talked about in the last live, where now that we have an defense attorney within 30 days basically gave up an affidavit saying that basically Karmelo Anthony had ineffective assistance of counsel. He got railroaded. All of his rights were violated. Experts couldn't testify. Even his medical experts couldn't testify. He was railroaded. He was framed, put it on the black kid, all of that, and plus more. All right. In criminal cases, such as the Karmelo Anthony case, an appellate court may also expedite an appeal if there is a compelling reason as a substantial claim that the defendant was being wrongfully detained. I say Karmelo Anthony has been behind jails and bars for 39 days under the guise of unlawfully detained because he never should have been there. It was self-defense. Where's the evidence? There's no evidence. There's no DNA. There's no blood. There's no fingerprints. There's nothing except for self-defense. Let's keep going. An issue requiring immediate resolution to prevent irreparable prejudice. Yes, this requires immediate resolution. Like I said, when we already did the homework, when Mike Howard wrote and submitted that affidavit to the new legal team, right there immediately, an investigation, inquiry should have been started. That was 2 Thursdays ago. So hold on, that was 1 week. So this is about 10 days ago. Mike Howard dropped that bombshell affidavit on 7/7. So 10 days ago, yeah, exactly 10 days ago. So something should be going on behind the background. And it also said a statute or court rule specifically authorizing an expedited review. Now, Judge Roach has already denied the motion to recuse himself in a new trial. That means that packet has already moved up to the new judge, and it shouldn't take 45 days or how many days that he or she requires time to look over the packet and approve. Now, I'll reframe. Now, the motion to recuse has already went to San Antonio, and we're going to talk about him next, the Honorable Sid L. Harle. So really, the other judge really is going to decide on the motion for a new trial along with the appeal. So trust me, that means that the work has been split. San Antonio judge can handle the recusal. I think it's going to come, especially once he read that affidavit from Mike Howard. And that means that the other court, the appellate court, whenever, I know it has to be a rule in Texas that something of this magnitude can be expedited to the top. Now, here we go. Okay, here we go. In Texas, a party can file a motion to expedite. Hey, y'all, this is it. In Texas, a party can file a motion to expedite, asking the appellate court to excel briefings and considerations. The court has discretion. See what I'm saying? That means that Texas appellate court has discretion to grant or deny the request based on the circumstances. And you can't tell me that Mike Howard's own affidavit does not fit into this realm. So you can't tell me that, you still can't tell me that the new legal team has not submit a motion to expedite. Now, I'm still thinking that the new legal team is still got to get all their files together. They got to cross their T's and dot their I's. But when they go to submit, you can't tell me one of these motions is not going to be in that packet, okay? It's not, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. Now, let's go to the next one. Okay. If you're asking about the Karmelo Anthony case specifically, an expedited appeal would generally require a persuasive legal bias to beyond the case receiving public attention. Based off Mike Howard's affidavit, it definitely does. That should persuade anybody to expedite the appeal, right? Is because you have a young man that has been wrongfully convicted, railroaded by his own lawyer, that is wrongfully imprisoned. He is in prison. These are the circumstances, okay? And y'all, I'm also thinking because of the Karmelo Anthony situation, there's going to be another law in his name based off of this case, where even if a defendant, a defense attorney says something or provide an affidavit or become a whistleblower on a case, it's going to be new laws within 72 hours or 1 day or 5 to 7 days. That appeal packet must be in front of the appellate court. I'm wishing for that, okay? I'm wishing for that. The appellate court would evaluate the reasons present in a motion to expedite and decide whether accelerated review is warranted. Y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? If Karmelo had taken a stand, it could have been worse for his legal team. No, it wouldn't. Scorch. No, it wouldn't. In a self-defense case. Now, I don't know what side you on, but as long as you're respectful, okay. But in a self-defense case, even Mike Howard said in the affidavit when he pushed back on the prosecution, he said, of course, my client is going to testify. He has to testify in a self-defense case. Now, how could it be worse than 35 years? All Karmelo Anthony was going to do, he was going to tell the jury his side of the story. How can that be worse when nobody can tell his side of the story? Now, if it was it, so hold on, Scorch, and this is serious. So you mean to tell me that Karmelo Anthony, if he would have took the stand, he would have got a worse sentence than what he got now? If that's the case, why did the prosecution, Bill Whiskey, pushed back from having Karmelo Anthony take the stands. You heard me right. If Karmelo Anthony was going to hurt himself more by testifying, why did the prosecution say, oh, no, he cannot take the stands? Because basically the jury and the public, we get to see who Karmelo Anthony is. Who is, hold one. And if you don't know, Scorch, let me go ahead and introduce you to Karmelo Sincere Anthony. Karmelo Sincere Anthony had a 3.7 GPA. He was 45 days from graduating. He had 21 scholarships. He had no disciplinary action. He was the captain of the football team, captain of the track team. He also saved a drowning young boy's life. He had 2 jobs. Now, what you say again, if Karmelo Anthony got on the stage and if his defense attorney said, tell me something about yourself, this is why the prosecution didn't want Karmelo Anthony on the stage, because everybody would have been in doubt. Well, hold on. This don't sound like the killer that U.S. Representative Pat Fallon said that was a scumbag, a killer, a devil, and a demon. He came to the track meet with just killing on his mind. Does that make sense? Even you behind the scene didn't even know Karmelo Anthony, that this was Karmelo Anthony, all of his accolades, his resumes. Even you didn't want this. The prosecution said that Karmelo Anthony cannot take the stands because when he testified for himself, he was going to be talking about his reputation, and they didn't want Karmelo Anthony good, clean reputation to be on that stand. Come on, y'all. Let's stop playing. Let's just stop playing. Let's stop playing. Listen to what you just said. Karmelo Anthony would have put himself in a worse situation. They're getting on the stand. Really? How? He had no criminal background. We say, Tony, issue means is you. Now you understand. Yes, Evelyn. Yeah. Yes. All of the video evidence must be made about right. Coupon Nation. Yes. I know how it goes. I did it allegedly. It is not saying you did it. It's saying you would be blamed for it. Golly, I hate I read that too long. That was 7 minutes ago. Scorch King, your judge, your prosecution, Karmelo Anthony, own lawyer, made a gentleman's agreement. Yeah, I don't think people know about the gentleman agreement that just came out. Oh my gosh, who me on put the affidavit, the exhibit 10, paragraph 3, also part 6. God damn, well, we taking notes over here for real. Scorch, your judge, your prosecutor, and Karmelo Anthony own lawyer made a gentleman's agreement and railroad him. That's what Mike Howard said in his affidavit. Y'all, they don't know nothing about the affidavit. I'm trying to tell you, these people behind. Hey, how you doing? I'm getting so tired of people talking about Karmelo Anthony said, I did it. My question is, he did what? Austin Metcalf died at the hospital. He could have not come right. He was talking about defending himself in the stands. He was talking about the fight. That's all he was talking about. And guess what? That didn't even come up in trial. They didn't want Karmelo Anthony up on the stage to clarify himself. Y'all. Yes, they must go to Fresco and request a full adulterated footage for that Wednesday, starting morning to evening. Not really, because I think the twins and them came through the gate around 9:40. All they got to get from 7, because the medical vehicle left about, let's say, 11 o'clock. No, because he was already at the hospital, and they called the time of death to be 10:56. But we know that it was something in the trash cans. We know that people was taking off their clothes, their bloody clothes. So yeah, you're right. I'll say morning to evening, because guess what? Somebody probably could have came back to the crime scene and did who knows. No weapon formed against Karmelo Anthony shall prosper. Thank you, Richard. Hey, I saw you in the live this morning. Okay, that was a continuation. Having a client take the stand can be extreme. Karmelo Anthony had no priors. What was he going to say to hurt his case of self-defense? No, it won't. Karmelo Anthony had no. Let me just read this. Having a client takes the stand can be extremely detrimental to his defense, not Karmelo Anthony, especially if the prosecutor trips him up. How can the prosecutor trip him up on his scholarships, GPA, his family unit, no criminal background, and self-defense? How can you trip him up? Scorch, did you not hear? Maybe you didn't hear this or hear it before you put this in here. It was the prosecution that didn't want Karmelo up there. Matter of fact, if you go to the affidavit, it was the prosecutor that didn't even want his defense attorney to bring up that Karmelo Anthony played chess. Yes, the prosecutor did not even want Mike Howard to bring up that Karmelo Anthony played chess, because they knew that the public that was in the courtroom in those limited 27 seats and the jury, I don't know about the jury, but a lot of people would be scratching their head. Well, what chess player would go out and commit premeditated murder with a 3.7 GPA, 21 scholarships, captain of the football team, captain of the track, and is about to graduate next month? Who is going to throw away their future for an Austin Metcalf, a Hunter Metcalf? Nah, Scorch, not this one. That's why the female cat, no. You ghost. You ghost. Hold on, I got you. If you don't understand dismissal, you are dismissed. Read it, broke all sorts of laws. So Karmelo was forced not, they don't even know about the affidavit, y'all. So Karmelo Anthony was forced not to testify by the setup for the judge and the prosecutor. Y'all, they still don't believe it. I don't think these people believe that Mike Howard said what he said. Yes, he did, Tony. It's so sad. They make Karmelo Anthony look like Kunta from Roots in his And let me tell you one thing. I had meant to bring this up so many times ago, but that's why I never posted. You have never seen me post that picture of Karmelo Anthony in those jail clothes, because I don't support that picture. You'll never see me post that picture over him. Ecclesiastes 10:1-2, a wise judge will instruct his officers. There's only one law the world must obey, the doctrine of the holy apostles, are the commandments of God. Jesus Christ is in of law. Thank you so much. Ecclesiastes 10:1-2. Thank you so much. If you want your witness to get tripped up the prosecutor, then all means have them testify. Now, right. All this right here is speculation. He shouldn't have took the stand because it would have been worse. Prove it. But the prosecution, if that's the case, the prosecution would have loved for Karmelo to be on the stands. The prosecution would have loved for Karmelo to be on the stands. That wasn't the case. Exactly. What's up, Keisha? He was going to testify, but the prosecutor. Hey, y'all remember what the affidavit said? They said, I think he was up next, and then they was fighting and fussing in the hallways, and they said that Mike Howard had only 10 minutes to go talk to Karmelo Anthony to get him basically not to testify. 10 minutes. But people don't even know that this affidavit that we're referring to exists. That's on them. They could go to the same channel, WFAA, and look up Karmelo Anthony 193-page appeal process and go directly to Exhibit 10, Mike Howard's own affidavit that he made in a signed mind, right? 30 paragraphs, including his signature, but they ain't gonna take the time. But the prosecutor and judge didn't want him to testify. Go to the appeal and come back. You're behind the curve with the legal information right now. They don't think it exists. Salute, sis. Hey, how you doing, Egyptian? What's a little confusing is that one breath Mike Howard said he's going to testify, and then the next breath because Mike Howard had to say something. He had to say that he wasn't ready because he couldn't come out there and say, "Oh, Karmelo Anthony is not going to testify because he's not ready." No. He had to say that Karmelo Anthony was ready to testify. But Mike Howard did his job and scared that young man up so bad. Oh, these are your options regarding this, testifying or not. These are your options for manslaughter, back and forth. And also, listen, they had 10 minutes. He tried to force feed him all of that in 10 minutes. That would have tripped up any adult or scared them so bad. And you know Mike Howard was lying to him. Oh, just don't testify, you'll be okay. That's why when Karmelo Anthony found guilty, they said that he let out a cry and he started, it was like a wall in the courtroom. It was like a cry. Even some YouTubers that was in there, they said that it is a cry that they never would get out of their head. Because Karmelo Anthony at that time, he knew that he was set up. That's why the parents said directly after the guilty verdict that they were set up. Because Mike Howard was feeding them so many lies. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, gotcha. I'm just trying to figure out why did Hunter have to go home to change his clothes? Facts. When in fact, he wasn't holding, he had the blood on him. And I'm just saying, hey, if you did catch him or did touch him, why you gonna go home and change clothes? That is your DNA too. They was twins. They had the same DNA. Why did Hunter have to go home and change clothes when you share the same blood? And even if somebody brought up in one of those lives when we talked about that, if Kennedy's wife, after he was assassinated in the parade, I think that was that Dallas too. Is that way Kennedy was assassinated? Hold on, my voice went out. Is that way Kennedy was assassinated? Was Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas? Lord have mercy, y'all. Oh my gosh. U.S. President John F. Kennedy was fatally shot on November 22nd, 1963, while riding in a presidential motorcade through Disney Palace, Dallas, Texas. What is going on with Texas? Texas, Texas. Listen, this is not a laughing matter. I don't know. Texas, when I said in the last live, y'all need to get down on y'all knees because something is about to come through. Y'all, why is everything pointing to Texas? So what I was about to say, if Jackie Kennedy, right? I think that was his name was that his wife? When President, and I think it was Jackie. Yeah, it was Jackie. When U.S. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, and his wife, she went into shock and she was trying to get the DNA off the back of the back of the trunk. If she went with her husband in an ambulance into the hospital, even though she know he was gone, covered in his matter, you mean to tell me that Hunter Metcalf could not go to the hospital with his brother's blood on his clothes? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Right, because 10 minutes was woo. The prosecution cannot prevent a witness. Yes, they did. They don't know the. Oh my gosh, we actually got people that don't know nothing about the affidavit. Magazine retriever. A magazine retriever. You said half of this correct. It was Karmelo's attorney who said no. However, you don't know the background story to this about the agreement that the prosecutor made. Lord have mercy. Y'all, hold on. They don't know that Mike Howard on the 7th of July provided an affidavit to Karmelo's new legal team about how they railroad Karmelo. We see it, and listen, y'all. Mainstream, do y'all see when I said that mainstream media is not even talking about this? Because you got people coming in here that don't even know about the affidavit. Hold on. Oh, no. Hold on, y'all. Here we go. Thank you, Father. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Here we go. All right. For everybody that's taking notes, in Mike Howard's, okay, let it come up. Mike Howard's Affidavit Exhibit 10, right? Look at this right here. A lot of people don't even know this document exists. Mainstream media, Fox News hasn't reported, CNN hasn't reported. The only thing that they said that Karmelo Anthony new legal team has appealed, but they don't say nothing about the affidavit, and they don't say nothing about the actual 139 page affidavit. Okay, Mr. Appeal thing. Look at this right here. Paragraph 22 of Exhibit 10. Look at this right here. On the way back to Chambers, Mr. Wilkie mentioned to Mr. Shook that from his perspective, I have already opened the door to character, reputation, and extraneous evidence pertaining to Mr. Anthony by saying that Mr. Anthony was a member of the chess club. So this proves my point. During the opening statement, I didn't say that about the chess club at any time. During my opening statement, I said that Mr. Anthony played chess during my background description of him and his hobbies. Y'all, they didn't even want the public and the jury to hear that Karmelo Anthony played chess because it opened up the door for reputation to be brought up, right? Mr. Wilkie also stated from his perspective that the agreement did not cover a testifying defendant. Isn't God good? In 193 pages, it only took me 1 minute to get here. Paragraph 22, page number. Page don't have a page number, but it's paragraph 2 in Exhibit 10. Mr. Wilkie also stated from his perspective the agreement did not cover a testifying a defendant. Mr. Shook alerted me, and Mr. Wilkie, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Shook, and I stood in the wells of the courtroom, and Mr. Wilkie repeated these statements, adding that the prosecution never thought that the defense would call Mr. Anthony to testify. Back in the judge's chambers, Mr. Wilkie repeated his assertions that the agreement between the prosecution and the defense never complicated a testifying defendant. He elaborated, stating that he had never thought we was calling Mr. Anthony as a witness. He also repeated his claim that I had already violated the agreement during the opening statements by saying Mr. Anthony was a member of the chess club. It is important to note that this is the first time Mr. Wilkie mentioned that he believed I had violated the secret agreement early by mentioning that Mr. Anthony played chess during the court. Do y'all see how petty this was? Right? Okay. Although the prosecution and defense team had conferred many times throughout the prosecution case in chief about various issues, this was the first time Mr. Wilkie brought up the subject. The reason why. Well, here's the reason. Number 23, Judge Roach told both the prosecution and defense teams that mentioning chess during the opening statements definitely did not open the door to character, reputation, and extraneous evidence applicable to Mr. Anthony. The parties argued about whether the agreement between both parties covered Mr. Anthony testifying. So who made this right here? Who brought this up? Magazine retriever. The gentleman's agreement that Mike Howard has handed over to Karmelo Anthony new legal team as a whistleblower has told everything. The reason why Mr. Karmelo Sincere Anthony didn't testify is because of the secret agreement right here. You don't have to believe me. Just Google Karmelo Anthony appeal document PDF. Go to Exhibit 10, paragraph 22. You're going to read this. But just know it's 21 other paragraphs above this that's going to make your mouth drop. And if you don't look at this right here, It's more. It goes all the way down to 30. Look at this. And 30, here we go. It's Mike Howard's affidavit. What are we talking about? Y'all come over here. Look at this notary. Look at it. Matter of fact, Mike Howard, he actually did it on the field. Hold on. So it was a Sunday. So it's, look at y'all. Did y'all see this right here? Mike Howard got this signed, sealed, and delivered and notarized. Look, Mike Howard signed this on the 5th. That was a Sunday. The 4th was a Saturday. This was a Sunday because I flew out on a Sunday. The 5th, Mike Howard. He reached out to somebody and got this signed. The notary, because the notary said August the 8th. Oh, that's his date. I'm sorry. That was his date. But Mike Howard got this signed by the notary on the 5th of July by David Johnson. And his commission expires August the 8th, 2027. Now, can we put this to rest? You think we just over here talking about nothing? This young man was railroaded. Paragraph number 22. I'm even helping out the trolls tonight. Paragraph number 22. Lord have mercy. Let me put back on my music. Oh my gosh. But that's what I'm saying, y'all. Some people just don't know. And it blame mainstream media. Since y'all follow mainstream media, y'all need to go back over there and say, hold on, mainstream media, Fox News. I went over to Tony Talks Vested Up Compelling Sports Edge, and they're telling me that Mike Howard has provided Karmelo Anthony new legal team with an affidavit that said they railroad and they took away all Karmelo Anthony rights as a defendant in Collins County, Texas. Please go over back over to Fox, CNN, ABC, whoever, all of those other anti-Karmelo Anthony podcasters, whoever y'all been listening to, and tell them what you learned over here with Tony Talks Vestas on this Saturday, on this good Saturday. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I bet the troll's gone now. Yeah, that is Texas. Yeah. Good Lord, Texas. Almost at the bottom of the new judge's profile. Go to qualifications. Okay. And jurisdictions. He represents San Antonio and yeah. Not the supposed to do the somebody gave him the it was Judge Ray Willis, but I'm gonna do all my homework on that. Trash can man. The illegal drugs. He was assigned by the judge higher up the chain. And guess what? If he was assigned by, you know what? Hold on, Vestas. Now, we already see how corrupt Collins County is, right? So they did the right thing. That means they're taking this thing serious, and they know that Karmelo Anthony civil rights have been violated, and now they definitely pay attention. What Tony Talks Vestas, what you talking about? Well, if Collins County Judge Roach and the prosecutor had this reach to do what they did to Karmelo, the best thing that Texas could have done was take it out of the jurisdiction and give it to somebody outside of the jurisdiction for impartiality for Karmelo and for the judge. Because how would we feel if it was somebody still in that district or jurisdiction that was going to look over the motion to recuse Judge Roach? Then it could be another conflict of interest. Boom. So what they did was, okay, we go take it out of this jurisdiction, and we're going to send it all the way down to San Antonio to make it look like and to ensure fair and impartiality for Karmelo and also the judge. Because how would you feel if that judge was still sitting down the road from John Roach? That would be two judges that said that John Roach can still sit on the trial. We don't want that. So yeah, I think, yes, a higher judge said, nah, we're going to take it out of anywhere near Collins County. We're going to throw it all the way down to the southern region of the state. And we're going to have a judge down there who's had matters like this before, who has great leadership. He has dealt with high profile matter like this. And we're going to go ahead and give it to Sid L. Harle, okay? I know I'm getting tired. Hold on. Oh, I'm almost done. Let's see here. The state has made it clear that the tent did not belong to Austin Metcalf. Facts. It was school property. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Alpha. OJ, OJ. Thank you so much. Please get a nice hug. I am. That's a sign I need to go ahead and get offline. I'm finna go. I'm tired. Please get a nice hot. I am. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm gonna get some hot chocolate. Yes, now you made me feel bad. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Am I doing a terrible job? We good. I gotta put the slides down. I don't gotta bring you that information tomorrow. Yes, Karmelo and several other students make use of the tents, and there are no rules or violations against that. They would have stressed that if he was in violation. I agree with you, Flo. I understand. If I understand correctly, that judge had authority to do it. If they screw up this, they would make it even worse for Texas. Okay, so you agree with me, Humi? You agree with me? So they had to. Matter of fact, that was the best thing that Texas could have done, or whoever Judge Ray Willis did. He said, you know what? It's already looking bad for Texas. The world is already watching. Department of Justice. Hey, this support my claim about the Department of Justice. The FBI made that call. Hey, y'all better do something. If not, we finna take this over and we finna start digging. So somebody had to say, you know what? Let's just make this right. We're going to take it out anywhere near Collins County, and we're going to throw it all the way down south to San Antonio for fair and impartiality. And listen, by that alone, Judge Roach, you have been recused. Nobody wants you near this. And sending it all the way down to San Antonio, that's writing on the wall. A good thing. Thank you so much, Al. I'm about to go. Thank you. For the days and for the nights in the wilderness, it's time for Karmelo to come home. Thank you, Bunny. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I hope I went up here screaming, but them trolls coming here and always mess me up. Yeah, that's scary for me, is that in writing that they can't do this, but maybe there's a clause that is written that outlines the modifications to the rule. I don't know, but I do know one thing that's in writing, Flo. Guess what? That affidavit is in writing. Let's see here. On that, get back in the clause of the truth, justice, and accountability for Karmelo, Nolan, Daniel, and all those underserving slain by devilish cows. Investors, perfect timing. Thank you so much for that, Philip. Washington 6925. I'm gonna go out on that. Okay, self-defense for Karmelo. Both of you, Philip and Paula, PW and PW. I'm gonna go out on y'all beautiful chats. Philip Washington and also Paula Wellington. Amen. So Vestas, I'll see you next time. So until then, make sure you go ahead and get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because we stay vested up over here 365 degrees at Tony Talks, vested up, compelling sports edge, and now I guess law. Okay, I will talk to you later. I'm gonna go lay down, rest up, and take care of my throat. All right, Vestas, I love you all. I will see you soon. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going directly in my slides, and then I'm going to the chats because I see how y'all do me. With love, Vestas. Stay vested.